how all of this began. To talk about the beginning point of Qubic, we have to talk about the founder. The founder is come from beyond, but not like as CSV. So he was a very early Bitcoin miner. He started with everything related to Bitcoin, to blockchain, almost in the beginning. And in 2013, he founded a new blockchain. Its name was NXT, and it was the first proof of stake, 100% proof of stake blockchain ever launched. So that was a huge hit. We have to think that it was before Ethereum. And at that time, well, it changed my professional life because I was using blockchain technology to intercommunicate different companies, and NXT was the perfect fit. Also, he was the founder of IOTA, the first directed acyclic graph ever created. That was also a huge hit. And finally, he went into Qubic. But Qubic was a project that was, the inception was in 2012, so many years ago. And we have to remark that CSV, all these projects, if you have a look about them, you know, they have some records, incredible records about adoption, about increase on volume, trading, price. It was amazing. So how Qubic works? Roman, please, can you explain?
Officially, we say we are layer 1 network. We often also use layer 0 because what unique as Qubic is that we run bare metal. We don't rely on any operating system. It means that we are this layer 1 decentralized network, which is running bare metal out in the network, out in the internet. And this network is run by so-called computers. It's not a computer, it's a computer. We have 676 computers in minimum. They are doing the validation of transactions, they are doing these smart contract executions. They are basically the core network. What is on top of it is used so-called useful proof of work. So we know that we have the proof of work, but what we want is to be that this is useful. Useful means that the work is done by miners or by contributing power is used for something. That's basically our main concept of Qubic.
And now I have to talk why the EU of useful proof of work matters, why it's so important. So in the beginning of the blockchain era, the proof of work was just a method to protect the security of the network, to protect that nobody is going to do a transaction that they shouldn't be doing. And it was just for that, so nothing useful. So the useful is that we can make that this compute produce real-world value. That's the most important thing, that this computational power can align the incentives of the miners, and also the network can get the security that it needs to run consistently, so to protect from raw actions from different actors. So in Qubic, we have useful because we are researching on artificial general intelligence, and then we have another part of useful that Roman will explain, you know, that it's, for instance, we are capable now of producing useful computation mining another blockchains. For instance, we are doing a proof of concept with Monero. And in the future, something that we can do is we can sell the computational powers to different companies. It doesn't have to be mining. It can be for AI, for different tasks that we can never imagine.
Yeah, so, bring out one example for you guys. As Alberto mentioned, is that the So what we can do is we can outsource computing. That's what makes us unique. We started a proof of concept, I think like 3-4 weeks ago, and we tried to see how can we use a portion of Qubic compute power to mine Monero. And that's what we showcase here. You see that it's working, or let's say we saw that it's working, and it shows us that the ability to outsource the computing is possible. Why can we do this? Is because we coupled the mining stuff and the computing of the validation. So there is a coupling between the mining and the validation. Yeah, that's why we do this POC.
Yeah, as Roman said, this was a proof of concept. We started with 1% of the total computational power of Monero when we launched, and now we have higher than 15% of the total mining power. If you see the growth, it's increasing a lot, and it makes something useful for our economy, because with the Monero mined, we are selling them, for USDT, and we are buying a Qubic with that to be burned. So, thanks to that, we are creating, the profit evaluation is higher than mining Monero or mining Tari by itself. So it's increasing the economy, the game theory economy that we have in Qubic. And thanks to all these facts that we have in Qubic, we can explain how we are here right now. How was the ecosystem expansion? It was kind of funny, because at the beginning, what people did we have? Only nerds, I think, right?
Yeah. I mean, we started 3 years ago. We were a group of nerds, let's say like this. We had CFP, Sergey, our founder, which has this idea since 10 years to create Qubic. So it's a grown idea in his mind. What he did is convince our group of nerds, a few, like 10, 20 people, and we joined together to start the creation of Qubic.
Yeah.
And of course, in the beginning, if you start a project that's small, it's like there's not a lot of ecosystem around. And that's why we are proud today to stay here after 3 years to say, okay, the ecosystem has grown.
Yeah.
You can say it's
Yeah. Yes, imagine that this is not an EVM project, so all the tools needed, you have to think about, for instance, Bitcoin. At the beginning, they didn't have wallets, they didn't have anything, so everything was like coding by itself with the command line interfaces, so very difficult to interact. So we were in a very similar situation where we didn't have wallets, we didn't have intermediate tools to connect to the network. We didn't have anything at all. So we started to create the tools, and also we started to onboard more projects, because Qubic is not only for AI. You can also deploy DeFi projects. You can create any project that you can think about. It can be deployed into Qubic. So we started to promote entrepreneurs, to promote developers. We created the developers documentation and guide, and now we have around 30 projects that they are going to be deployed into Qubic, and they are creating their own economy. One of the main things is that in crypto we have to be connected, and we have to achieve to get to liquidity. That's why we are listed on exchanges. We are growing our user base, and it was a very long journey. That's why we are here. And thanks to that, what we have?
What we have is one of the fastest change. So it's not one of the fastest. We had also like a month ago searching one of the biggest auditors in the crypto space. The knowledge on our chain, and they measure the speed. And we are basically just the fastest. So we hit like 50 million TPS, and that's in cooperation with others.
Yeah, it was also good to meet the 30 people here and to take a picture with them. Because if you compare, the measurements and the speed of Qubic with one of the main chains that are very well known because they are fast, well, we are incredibly fast. And Roman, would you say why is the main reason why we are so fast in transactions?
I think it's not another thing. I know it's because what I told in the beginning. So what we do is we not rely on the operating system. We do our own way on this bare stuff, and our coding is completely native. So all the smart contracts, everything running on the Qubic network is coded natively, actually in C++, and that's what makes us unbelievable.
Yeah, you have to think that this speed, it was needed for a decentralized AI. So having this high TPS is just a consequence of the architecture of Qubic. CSV, he had the vision that to create this AI, we need to have no operating system, as Roman said. Also, the database is not stored with a persistent layer. It's on RAM memory. And the vision that we have to achieve an artificial general intelligence is researching how we can create intelligence. If we think about the current LLMs that we have, they are more predictive text. They are searching for what's the next word that I have, the most probable word that we will have in the next. In our approach, we started with a journey that we researched how to create the creation of artificial neural networks and where were the most effective. Then we have been evolving everything until we have like pieces of the brain that they interconnect each other, and we can remove what are the good ones and what are the bad ones. And using this intelligence also to evolve the evolution of AGARD. So the target that we have is that we are quite sure that in 2027 we will achieve the artificial general intelligence, and during the next years we are getting some goals slowly. So to explain a little bit more about the difference between the current artificial intelligence that we have with LLMs, OpenAI, Gemini, Grok, all of these ones, they are based on just probabilistic records, but there is one thing that they don't do. They don't reason, okay? That's the main problem that we have. If we want to build something that it's going to be in a higher level, capable of doing complex tasks, we have to create an upper layer and orchestrate of all of these LLMs all together. But we have many limitations, like hardware limitations. To run these very large models that we have here, we need a lot of computational power that it's very expensive, and also the scalability, it stops at some point. So our approach is this one, and it's the search of intelligence, how we can turn electricity into intelligence. So this is a process that it goes to the first artificial neural networks, combination of all of them, and I have to explain that there is one main difference that it can be, one main difference that it was also published by Microsoft, for instance. We don't provide two outputs, like true or false. We provide also another output, and it's I don't know. It's the -1, you know? This way, we can train the data much faster, and it's much cheaper than everything that was launched before. If you think, do you remember when DeepSeek was launched? You know, they use also this kind of training. So our tests before, they were proof. So this is the way that we are taking to get into the artificial general intelligence. So,
Alberto, don't forget all the tech stack we built. The speedy network, the capabilities of bare metal, pure power, is exactly to achieve the goal of AGI in 2027. So what we do with this, the foundation we build on Qubic, is that we can achieve it. That's why we need this speed. We don't focus on traditional blockchain infrastructure. We had to build it from scratch to achieve our goal.
Yeah, and it makes me think, you know, we thought that this project was thought in 2012, you know, many years ago. Why wasn't it launched before, you know? Why was the reason? And the reason was that there was not hardware, you know, at that time. We need servers that they have a very huge memory RAM, and also the connection between them, you know, now they are much better than in 2012. So that's the main reason. So I would say that here you have the different ways to join Qubic. Okay, if you want to invest, okay, you can go to the investors QR code. If you want to learn more about Qubic, you can go to the middle one QR code. And also, if you are a developer, we are running a hackathon in a couple of weeks. You know, it can be online, on site of Paris. So I highly recommend all the developers that join us, because we have had very good experience in the past with hackathons, and also there are very good prizes. And finally, if you want to learn very quickly about Qubic, what we explained, you can go to our on-chain Qubic Academy, where you can learn everything very, very quickly. Something to add?
No, that's good. We both are here today. If anybody wants to know more, please don't just reach out to us. You will find us here at the campus, and we are happy to answer any question.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. You know, for joining. It was a pleasure from our side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.